So we had discussed scavenging in the previous class. So if you consider scavenging as a process, it is basically removal of exhaust gases from the uh, engine assembly. So scavenging becomes a very big issue when we have scavenging becomes a very big issue when we have a two-stroke SI or a CI engine. So in two-stroke SI or a CI engine, the reason is very simple that we have inlet and outlet ports, unless whereas we have um, whereas we have valves in the case of four-stroke SI or CI engine. So valves opening and closing is uh, done with the help of a cam-based operation system. Right now, it is beyond your syllabus how those cam functions to control the opening and closing of valves. But the opening and closing of valves is controlled, and these valves open, and we have a separate stroke for exhaust. So when we have a separate stroke for exhaust, it enables the exhaust gases to leave the system systematically, as well as there is a complete removal of exhaust gases from the system. Whereas in a two-stroke system, generally what happens that we have two ports which are always open, and these open ports they allow entry and exit of exhaust gases. So in a cross flow scavenge system, you can see that in all these systems you have different heads, different shape of heads for for piston. So in a cross flow, you can see the name cross flow means the entry of fresh air fuel mixture is from one end, and from the other end the exhaust gas comes out, and this is the shape of the piston. For a loop scavenge system, again, uh, we have both the ports located on the same side, and we have a flat piston assembly, and then scavenging takes place, and this motion is the entire operation is controlled by the motion of the piston. Whereas again in a uniform scavenge, we have both of them entering from above. So this again makes the exit is from above, and from the entry is from the lower side of the cylinder. Now in all these three scavenging processes, they were useful in removing or most of the amount of exhaust gases, but complete removal as compared to a four-stroke engine was not possible. This scavenging was made relatively better by using these three methods. But mm, if you say that its effectiveness as compared to a four-stroke SI or a CI engine, it is not possible. So this scavenging, poor scavenging means that you'll be having petrol, air fuel mixture in the case of a SI engine being mixed with exhaust gases, and they leave the system before actually burning out or before supplying energy. And in the case of CI engines, what happens is you are compressing air, and before the entire stock is burnt, you have a fresh stock of air coming. So you have a certain part of exhaust gases being compressed with air. So if exhaust gases are being compressed with air, it leads to the production of toxic gases inside the cylinder chamber. So these are three types of scavenging processes. I don't think that types of scavenging will be asked in your examination. You will only be asked about what is scavenging and where it is more prevalent. So it is more prevalent in two-stroke SI or CI engines. It is. scavenging is not an issue in any of the four-stroke SI or CI engines. Okay. So now let us start with electric vehicles. So now you can see that government is also facilitating the use of electric vehicles due to pollution norms, due to a very huge issue of air pollution, being air as well as sound pollution being created by uh, CI and SI engines. Moreover, electricity can be generated using renewable sources of energy, whereas you have petrol and diesel as one of most easily perishable non-renewable sources of energy, and uh, they are soon going to finish off. And moreover, India, if you talk about, let us talk about India itself. If we are buying petrol diesel from some outside country, it is actually uh, costing us some amount of foreign reserve, and that foreign reserve goes in buying. So neither the government, in terms of monetary issue, nor in terms of environmental issues, does not. No government wants to prolong the use of these vehicles where they run on non-renewable sources of energy. So electricity is, let us say, hydroelectric systems. They are produced using running water, so that is a renewable source of energy. So electricity is one medium through which vehicles can be run. Now, if you talk about an electric car, it is an automobile in itself, and all these basic IC engine parts are removed and they are replaced by an electrical system. Now, in an electrical system, what you can see, if you have seen, let us say, uh, a tape recorder, let us take a if you take a tape recorder, you supply a electricity to a DC motor. That DC motor is used to run two spindles, not two, only one spindle. It runs one spindle and on which the tape moves, and whatever is written on that magnetic tape or embedded on that magnetic tape, you listen to it. And if you see a mixie, how does it work? You have an electrical system where it is supplied to a AC motor, and that AC motor rotates at a specific RPM. And in some mixies, you have various RPM given by 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. You have fans. All these where you can vary the RPM, and they can run at variable speeds. So, in the same phenomena is been employed by electric vehicles to run a system. So we have a chassis, we'll be having a chassis, we'll be having a suspension system on which people will be sitting comfortably, and the entire system is run with the help of electricity. Now, this electricity, generally it is not an AC supply running AC, because in fans, etc., these are stationary electrical, they are run by stationary electrical motors, whereas these electric vehicles will be run by moving. So, moving, you cannot have an AC type of system where it has been supplied electricity. So, in an electric car or vehicle, or let us say a motorcycle or a scooter, an electric auto rickshaw, these are all run by batteries. So the basic conventional engine is being replaced by an electrical motor and a battery system. So if you look at the block diagram of this electrical vehicle, you have a transmission system here. Now transmission system means this will consist of gears, etc. You have a motor, you have a controller, you have a battery management system, you have a battery pack. So if you now let us come to how does it operate. Now, if you talk of a battery pack in normal automobiles, petrol and diesel automobiles, cars, etc., we have a battery. In Activa, you have a battery. In motorcycles, you have battery, and all these are for different purposes. If you look at motorcycles which were used around 10 to 12 years back, their battery was only for horn and light. Now we had self start in some motorcycles where with the help of a push button you could start the vehicle. So that small battery was replaced by a heavier battery. Now those batteries are lead acid batteries. Those batteries are lead acid batteries. So they have lead as the cathode, and they have concentrated sulfuric acid which dissociates and releases electrons, and this flow of electrons produces EMF. We have continuously charging and discharging of those batteries. So for self we required a greater amount of power. So what we did, that the battery was replaced by a heavier one. Now in cars, you you require another battery which is supposed to be heavier than those in motorcycles. If you have buses, trucks, those are replaced by a heavier, more heavier battery system. And those same types of batteries are being used in households as inverters. So in inverters, you have a further heavy battery system, because it all depends upon the consumption. Now, in all these systems, you can see that the participation of battery in the case of, let us say, from motorcycles to household systems, the in household it is stationary, so you can replace it by as big a battery as possible first. And the second one is weight is not an issue because it is kept on the ground. In cars, etc., you require batteries only for they are continuously charged and discharged. So you have a charging mechanism for those batteries also. So you can have a small battery, and they are used to operate electrical controls or electronic controls inside the car. Now, transmission was earlier not controlled by, transmission was controlled by mechanical work that has been delivered by burning of fuel. Here what we are doing is, we have a battery pack. Now this battery pack is not lead acid batteries, it is lithium ion batteries. So the same lithium ion batteries that you have in your mobile phones, they are of a certain voltage and a certain milliampere. So if you buy a mobile phone, you see कितने mAh की बैटरी है, 4000 mAh, 5000 mAh, probably you have 6000 mAh batteries also used in mobile phones. So mAh is milliampere hour. So these lithium ion batteries of greater capacity are placed in this battery pack. Now, in battery management system, you have two specific controls. First one is how much battery is left and how much distance the vehicle will be able to travel in this battery. So this information has to be supplied in electronic vehicles. In old cars, if you see Alto or Wagoner or previous models, or nowadays also whatever smaller cars we have, those cars need not tell you about how much distance the vehicle will travel before the fuel will get exhausted. It will give you an indication of the amount of fuel left. The amount of fuel left is done with the help of a analog system. It is not mm, a digital system where you get the total net amount of fuel present in your fuel tank. Vehicle, no small vehicle tells you that we have 10 liters of fuel left, 9.9 liters, 9.8 liters. It tells you an analog value that approximately you are going to be empty, or approximately the tank is half full, or approximately the tank is full. So, based upon that, it tells you. Sometimes high-end cars, they tell you about the total distance that they can travel by calculating the approximate mileage that the vehicle is giving. But that is an approximate analysis. In this battery management system, the electric vehicle needs to clearly state that this is the amount of uh, distance the vehicle will travel with the battery left before it needs to be charged. So you need to charge it before you achieve that distance, otherwise your vehicle will stop. And if it is a pure electric vehicle, that means you have no other power source to run it. This becomes very essential because let it be a mm, electric auto rickshaw, then also the total distance traveled needs to be mentioned. And this is to be a real time analysis, because if you are standing at a certain location and your vehicle is stagnant, then also probably you may be using some amount of electricity or battery power. So it will be a real time calculation that if you are running through a jam, if you are running through a highway, the distances will vary for the same amount of battery left. So these all real time analysis is done by the battery management system. Now the next is a controller. The controller controls the net amount of uh, voltage that needs to be supplied to the motor. Now uh, let us say a regulator, a fan regulator. What you do is you have variable speeds. So variable speeds means four. So if you have four speeds or five speed of a regulator, the RPM of the fan motor at 5, let us say it is 1000 RPM, and at 2 it is 200 RPM. So if at 2 it is 200 RPM, it cannot run at 210 RPM or 180 RPM. Now, but in the case of car, you need to run at variable speeds. Your speed at turning will be different, your speed at highway will be different, your speed under variable loads will be different, your speed in city conditions will be different. So this is to be done by a controller. The controller controls the voltage, because the voltage is one parameter which will be used to control the speed. So if you have performed any experiment on electricity, you know an auto variac. Auto variac is an instrument which is used to vary the voltage manually. Now here this system needs to be done depending upon the power you are requesting. Like you will be obviously having an accelerator, uh, by pressing which you will be running. Accelerator means if you press the accelerator in a car, that means you will be running at a greater speed. So if you will be running at a greater speed means the controller needs to give more voltage to the motor, so for it to run. So the accelerator will be directly controlled by the controller. So when you press the accelerator hard, it will supply more EMF to the motor, and motor will thereby run at a greater speed, and that greater speed will be given to the transmission system for it to run. So the controller is directly attached to the controls or operations as given by the driver of the vehicle. Now we have a battery management system, and if you look at a vehicle, electric vehicle, then in that electric vehicle 50% of it is batteries, and 50% of the cost, 50% of the price, everything is for the batteries, the rest is the other systems. So if you take the case of Tesla vehicle has 7,000 batteries in it. Chevrolet, the Spark has 6,600 batteries in it. So in a purely electric vehicle, you have mm, the battery comprising of 50% or even more than 50% of the entire setup. Now, when you are using lithium ion batteries, these batteries are, they have voltage ranging from 3.7 volt to higher voltages, and they are, this is the voltage. And mm, if you talk about amperes or current flowing, let us say it is of 5000 mAh or 4000 mAh. This is the configuration of one battery. So you have around 6,000, 7,000, let us say 5,000 batteries running in tandem. So if this is 4 volt, let us round it 3.7 volts to 4 volts. And if you have 5,000 batteries, you are actually producing 20,000 volts. Okay, so 20,000 volts of 20,000 volts is actually produced, and they are placed in series, and the voltage ratings are added for batteries, and this 20,000 volts is supplied to the controller, and the controller controls the net amount of voltage that will be given to the motor to run at a specific speed. So this is variable speed. You can press as soon as you remove your leg from the accelerator. What will happen? The voltage supplied will be zero, and you are running. If you are previously running, you are running due to inertia, and otherwise you need to apply brakes. So the if you talk about batteries, the same configuration that we use in mobiles, the same types of batteries are used, but the quantity of batteries is quite high as compared to um, because in SI or CI engines you also require batteries, but that is a single battery. But here you have multiple batteries. So the same type of batteries that are used in mobiles are clubbed together in series, and they work in tandem so as to produce energy. Now, this is the example that if you have a 3.7 volt 2000 mAh batteries, then if you have two batteries connected, then it will be producing this much amount of energy. So if you have n number of uh, batteries being connected, so n into 3.7 volts will be the net amount of voltage being produced. So this is batteries in series, where you can place them in series, and this is the manner when they are placed in parallel. So they are generally not placed in parallel, they are placed in series, so that voltage becomes a controlling factor for working of these engines. The battery management system. The battery management system, this is the brain of the batteries, and it takes care of every individual battery. It tells you about the power being supplied, the amount of battery power left, the amount of battery power consumed, the amount of time taken for charging, the amount of time taken for discharging of these batteries. Everything is being shared here or taken care by the battery management systems. Earlier we had lead acid batteries, so in lead acid batteries we are not concerned with the battery management system, because battery adds value to the car, but battery itself is not required to run the car. You can run the vehicle, or you can start the vehicle by application of force. मैंने आप धक्का लगा के भी गाड़ी स्टार्ट कर सकते थे अगर आपकी बैटरी खराब है कार में. एक्टिवा में अगर आपकी बैटरी खराब है तो आप किक मार के भी स्टार्ट कर सकते हो, लेकिन यहाँ जहाँ की आपका पूरा सिस्टम ही बैटरी पे चल रहा है, आप ना धक्के मार के स्टार्ट कर सकते हो ना कुछ कर सकते हो. द बैटरीज नीड टू बी चार्ज, and the battery management takes care of overcharging of batteries, etc. All these things need to be taken care before they are actually used. So the purpose of the battery management service is to take care of the voltage, current, and temperature of the cell, and it constantly monitors and takes care of these values. Now, SOC means the state of charge, that means the amount of charge left. SOH means the amount of health, means the battery condition, because battery, it also depends upon the, because in mobiles also you see, you charge the battery, you discharge the battery when you are producing, giving it power, taking back power from itself. Why does the battery lose its health? Over a period of time you will see that the battery takes a longer time to charge or longer time to discharge, means longer time to charge and a very short time to discharge. So that means the health of the battery has been poor. So state of charge and state of health, these parameters need to be measured by the battery management service. Now, this is an electrical motor. So, an electric vehicle motor consists of brushed DC motors. So, BLDC stands for brushed DC motors. And these are induction motors which are continuously being supplied or given power by the uh, or the amount of power which is been given to them are being controlled by the controller. So these brushless DC motors, they have constant torque and they have fast responses due to change in voltages. So fast responses means suddenly by pressing the accelerator, if you try to vary the voltage, they will quickly respond to it and vary the torque which is being supplied to the transmission system. So if you have driven like let us say if you if you drive a gear vehicle and an activa, there are differences. So in activa what happens, you have a sudden pickup, and that is not possible in the case of geared vehicles, because in the geared vehicles the increase in the rpm is done by both accelerator and gear. So gear has a certain limitation, accelerator also has a certain limitation. Whereas in a gearless transmission system, like you have an Activa, etc., that is not practically gearless, but in a you do not have a clutch mechanism. In those engines, you can see that uh, if you press the accelerator hard, then the vehicle suddenly accelerates. So this sudden acceleration is possible in the case of electrical vehicles, whereas it is not possible to be done in the case of SI or CI engines until and unless they are very high-end cars. So these are different types of motors. So this is about the motor. So I don't think there will be any discussion about the types of motors, because motors itself is a subject in itself. How does the motor work? The rotor is placed in a rotating magnetic field, and when you supply EMF to it, it produces flux, etc. So these are all types of motors. And here you are supplying power to the magnet. The magnet induces magnetic field which enables the shaft to rotate. So motor, generator, they are vice versa of each other. So this is the diagram of the brushless DC motor which has been attached to the vehicle. Now this has been done like this. This is the transmission shaft and the vehicle runs. So when you have a variable voltage, this is something which has been directly done to the wheels of the mm, automobile, but this is not the case of electric cars. Electric cars, it is different. You have a transmission system through which power is being supplied to the wheels. Here, if you have a single wheel, this happens generally in the case of auto rickshaws, where power is being supplied to the front wheel only and the back wheels just follow. So this is a BLDC runner motor. This is how it has been placed. Now these are rotors. These are mm, coils, and these coils are placed in a rotating magnetic field, and energy is being supplied to the magnets, and these magnets induced a rotational force, a change of EMF, which leads to the running of the shaft, and when the shaft rotates, the wheel also rotates. Now, this is how power is being transmitted in cars. So this is an DC motor. This DC motor is operated with the help of a controller, and you have a transmission system here, and this transmission system sends its power to the central shaft, and this central shaft rotates, which allows these two wheels to rotate. So you have a motor here, and this motor is being supplying power to the central shaft, which is used to run the vehicles. So generally, electric vehicles are not 4x4 drive. 4x4 drive means the power is being supplied to all the four wheels. Power in the case of electric vehicles for cars, etc., cars or SUVs, etc., are generally front wheel drive only. That means the power is being supplied to the only forward two wheels, not onto the backward two wheels. Okay. So this is a diagrammatic representation of the brushed DC motors. So this is a DC motor which has been supplied powered by the controller. Now this is an AC induction motor which is used in Tesla model, and this is used to run the front wheels. So these two vertical members are your suspension systems. These are the two wheels, and you have this electric motor which is been supplying power to the central shaft so as to rotate these two wheels. So this uses a three-phase AC induction motor. That means the batteries that you are having, that will be first converting DC to AC and supplying the voltage to these uh, AC, three-phase AC induction motor. So use of three-phase AC induction motor means you are having greater control over its RPM for the vehicle. Now, the purpose of the controller, that you already know, that it is used to control, or it is used as the brain. Brain means depending upon your requirement, depending upon your commands, it will be supplying voltage to the motors. So they run at variable accelerations. You can run the various controls inside the cars, etc., etc. So everything related that can be operated with the help of a battery is being controlled by the controller. Now this is an EV charger. EV charger, electronic voltage charger, and this charger is used to charge those lithium-ion batteries which are being present in your car. So the plus, this uses an AC as its input source, like you do for your mobiles, and this AC has been converted into DC to charge the batteries. So these are high speed chargers because uh, why we need high speed chargers? Because the amount of batteries, if you are having 6,000, 7,000 batteries, so they need to be charged at a very high rate, because if you are running the vehicle for 4 hours and it takes 6 hours to charge, it makes it very difficult. So these are very high speed chargers. So these are different types of chargers: level 1, level 2, level 3 chargers. Now if you look at this electric vehicle, hmm, so you have a transmission. This is how, this is your motor. This has been rotating. You have number of gears. These number of gears enable you to run at a higher RPM. That means if this motor is running at, let us say, 100 RPM, you can run the vehicle with the help of these gears at 1000 RPM. You are increasing the speed by 10 times. So if it is running at 10 RPM, this will run at 100 RPM. So you need a gear system, and this is your transmission system, which actually enables you it to run at various velocities. Moreover, you also need to back the car. So when the car is running backwards, the motor will not run in backward direction or in reverse direction or anti-clockwise direction. So what happens? These gears are used to reverse the direction of transmission and run the vehicle in various directions and at various velocities. Moreover, at the time of turning, you have both the wheels running at different velocities. So when the wheels are running at different velocities, the control of velocity is also done with the help of these various gears. So you have these gears being arranged in a specific manner so that the velocity may be increased or decreased depending upon your situation. Now come to the last topic. This is hybrid vehicle. A hybrid vehicle means it is running on bi-fuel. So hybrid vehicle nowadays, most common, you can see Maruti Ciaz. It is an hybrid vehicle. You have MG Hector, which is an hybrid vehicle. So hybrid vehicles are those vehicles which are running on both the fuels. You have a battery system also, as well as a petrol or a diesel mechanism. So in a hybrid vehicle, what happens? You have, let us say, petrol or diesel as one fuel, So it is running the engine, and the engine, one part of the power is going in charging the batteries which are being placed inside the car itself. So these batteries are charged, and when these batteries are charged, you can use these batteries. So that means the petrol supply or the petrol type of functioning will be switched off, and the vehicle will be running on electric power. So when the electric power is exhaust, again you can come back to your petrol or diesel mechanism. So the charging and the discharging of the vehicles is done by the power which has been produced in the IC engine itself, and they run simultaneously. So any possible combination you can use means, so hybrid vehicles are also quite prevalent in India, and this hybrid, the purpose is, they can run on electricity as one of the mechanism. And the basic advantage, or the, you can say, the most important advantage in the case of hybrid vehicle is the charging of the batteries is being done by the power source present inside the engine itself. So you need not stop the vehicle at charging stations and get your electric vehicle charged before you can run them again. Okay, so this is all about electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles.